People talk about money like it's this mysterious creature, like it shows up randomly, favors certain people, ignores others, and disappears the moment you stop watching it. For years, I believed that too. I thought money was something you chased, something you hoped for, something that might arrive one day if the timing was right and the universe was feeling generous. What I eventually learned, slowly, sometimes painfully, is that money isn't dramatic at all. It's quiet. It responds to patterns. It follows behavior. It grows when it's treated with patience and shrinks when it's treated casually. And most of all, it tends to move toward people who are already moving. Not rushing, not panicking, just moving. If you've ever laid awake at night replaying bills in your head like a bad playlist, if you've ever opened your bank app and immediately closed it again because you didn't feel like facing the number, if you've ever wondered how some people seem to breathe easier while you're constantly holding your breath, you're not broken, you're not lazy, and you're definitely not alone. Most people were never taught how money actually works in real life. We were taught how to earn it, maybe how to spend it, but rarely how to live with it, how to think about it, how to let it support us instead of stress us. And that's where this conversation really starts. Not with markets or side hustles or complex strategies, but with the space between your ears. Because money decisions almost always begin as thought habits long before they become bank balances. A lot of people are quietly waiting for the right job, the right idea, the right break, the right year, waiting for confidence to show up before they act, waiting for motivation to arrive like a lightning bolt. But money doesn't tend to drift toward people who wait. It tends to follow people who are already doing something, even if that something is small, imperfect, and a little awkward. There's a comforting myth that says, one day I'll figure it all out and then I'll start. In real life, it works the other way around. You start clumsily, uncertainly, and clarity shows up later. Think about it like this: nothing grows in untouched soil. You can stare at the ground all you want, imagine the garden, dream about the harvest, but until something breaks the surface, nothing happens. Money is similar. It responds to action, not intention. That doesn't mean grinding yourself into exhaustion. It means choosing motion over fantasy. It means planting one seed instead of waiting for a perfect forest. The way you talk to yourself matters more than most people realize. Not in a cheesy, motivational poster way, but in a practical one. Language shapes emotion. Emotion shapes routine. Routine shapes results. If you constantly describe your situation as hopeless, your brain believes you. If you speak about the future as if it's already closing in on you, you stop noticing doors. But when you start speaking with quiet confidence, not arrogance, just steadiness, your behavior shifts, and behavior is where money lives. That doesn't mean pretending you're rich when you're not. It means saying things like, I'm learning how to handle money better, instead of, I'm terrible with money. One statement opens space, the other slams a door. When you see someone else succeed, it's easy to let jealousy creep in. It's human. But jealousy is just admiration that hasn't learned how to walk yet. Instead of letting it sour, you can let it inform you. Someone else's win is evidence that opportunity exists, not proof that you missed your chance. Their door opening doesn't mean yours is closed. It just means doors can be built. One of the quiet killers of financial growth is scattered attention. A mind pulled in 20 directions feels busy but rarely moves forward. It's like shining a flashlight across an entire stadium, technically bright but practically useless. Progress loves focus, not obsession, not burnout, just choosing one meaningful direction and giving it your honest attention for long enough that something can grow. This often means subtracting before you add, less scrolling, less gossip, less noise that doesn't pay rent in your head. You don't need to know everything that's happening. You need to know what's happening in your own life. Work matters, but so does how you feel about it. You don't need to love your job every day, that's unrealistic, but you shouldn't hate your life 8 hours at a time. Misery is expensive. It drains energy, creativity, and the willingness to try anything new. If your current situation feels heavy, that doesn't mean quit recklessly. It means begin exploring quietly. After hours, on weekends, in small experiments, curiosity is cheaper than regret. Many people find their way forward not through grand plans, but through tinkering, watching a tutorial, testing an idea, fixing something small, helping someone solve a problem. These tiny experiments often reveal paths you couldn't have planned from the start. Passion doesn't always pay immediately, but it compounds faster than almost anything else. When you care about what you're doing, learning feels lighter, effort feels less forced, time stretches instead of shrinking. Your phone can be a gift or a thief. It can teach you skills, connect you to mentors, open markets, or it can quietly take hours you'll never get back. The difference isn't the device, it's the intention. Feeding your mind regularly, even just 20 or 30 minutes a day, adds up. A book, a thoughtful video, a lesson you actually apply. This isn't about becoming an expert overnight. It's about staying curious longer than most people do. Environment matters more than motivation. If everyone around you is constantly complaining, stuck, or cynical, it becomes harder to imagine something different. You don't need to cut people off dramatically. Sometimes it's enough to add one new table, one place where ideas, solutions, and forward motion exist. Time is the one thing you can't earn back. Treating it casually is one of the most expensive habits there is. Guarding your time doesn't make you selfish, it makes you intentional. Living below your means isn't punishment, it's protection. It creates breathing room. It turns money into a tool instead of a source of fear. Every dollar you don't spend impulsively becomes a quiet worker in your life, even if it starts small. Setbacks will come, that's not pessimism, that's life. The difference between people who move forward and those who stay stuck isn't the absence of setbacks, it's the response. Breathe, adjust, learn, continue. Taking care of your body isn't separate from money. Energy affects decisions. Clarity affects discipline. A short walk, decent food, fresh air, these aren't luxuries, they're maintenance. Integrity matters more than shortcuts. Trust accelerates everything, relationships, opportunities, deals. When people know you're honest, doors open quietly and consistently. You don't need to start big. Small value given sincerely has a strange way of returning larger. Answer a question, share something useful, help where you can. Value is magnetic. Measure what matters, not obsessively, gently. Awareness alone changes behavior. Knowing where your money goes, where your time goes, where your energy goes, this knowledge is power without drama. Growth often lives just outside comfort, not terror, just mild discomfort. The chill air that wakes you up, that's where learning sticks. Rest matters too, real rest, not numbing distraction, but intentional pauses that restore you. A calm mind makes better decisions. Tiny actions repeated consistently reshape entire lives. The person who brings lunch instead of buying snacks every day doesn't feel dramatic at the moment, but 10 years later, the difference is real. Skills learned quietly can turn into income streams unexpectedly. The internet has made this more accessible than ever, but it still rewards patience and honesty over hype. Emergency savings isn't pessimism, it's peace of mind. It turns surprises into inconveniences instead of disasters. Understanding basic money language, interest, equity, cash flow, protects you from smooth talkers and bad deals. Knowledge doesn't make you rich overnight, it makes you harder to fool. Negotiation isn't aggression, it's a conversation. Asking politely often changes outcomes more than people expect. Multiple income streams don't mean chaos, they mean resilience. If one slows down, another carries you. Automating good habits removes willpower from the equation. What happens automatically happens consistently. Gratitude isn't denial of problems, it's perspective. A grateful mind spots opportunities a bitter one misses. Idle minutes can be tiny classrooms. Learning doesn't always need a desk and silence. Over time, connections form, skills overlap, ideas mature. Nothing feels sudden when you're living it, but looking back, the pattern becomes clear. Wealth isn't magic, it's repetition. Simple actions done with uncommon consistency by ordinary people. If there's one thing worth holding onto after all of this, it's this: your financial life is not a judgment of your worth. It's a reflection of habits, timing, knowledge, and circumstance, many of which can change gently, without panic or pressure. Money doesn't need you to become someone else. It doesn't demand perfection. It responds to awareness, patience, and care. Small choices made kindly and consistently tend to soften the future in ways that feel almost invisible at first. Especially when you think about retirement not as a finish line, but as a season of life, what most people truly want isn't luxury. It's steadiness, the ability to sleep well, the freedom to say no when something doesn't feel right, the comfort of knowing that an unexpected expense won't knock the wind out of you. Those things are built quietly, over time, through decisions that don't look impressive on social media but feel deeply reassuring in real life. You don't need to rush, you don't need to overhaul everything tomorrow. Even noticing one habit, one pattern, one opportunity is enough for today. Awareness itself is progress. And if some days feel slower than others, that's okay. Forward motion isn't a straight line. It curves, it pauses, it adapts. What matters is that you remain a participant in your own future rather than a spectator waiting for it to arrive. Think of money less as something to conquer and more as something to understand. A relationship, not a battle, one that grows calmer as you grow more familiar with it. Wherever you are right now is not a verdict, it's a starting point. And starting points don't need drama, they just need honesty and a little patience. When you're ready, the next good decision will be there, quietly waiting. Thanks for watching.